Ah, yes, this typical bullshit talking point that comes from niggercrats and bitch-ass white liberals. Yes, if black people get guns, the Republicans are gonna come over to the Democrat side and then bipartisan measures, get some sweeping legislations to put some gun control on the table. That's gonna happen. The niggercrats have been crying this for years. Ha! It's gonna happen. Wait, but let's address the elephant in the room, though. We're denying the allegations without addressing the motherfucking evidence right here, buddy.
Republican Winsome Sears, seen here attempting suicide by cop, was elected as Virginia's first black female lieutenant governor. But this is actually a win for Democrats because nothing will get Republicans to support gun control faster than this picture.
Is there a rise in the number of, let's say, minority-focused gun groups?
We have seen a dramatic rise in the number of groups that support gun rights for LGBTQ people, for people of color, and for other left-leaning groups in recent years. However, we should still put it in context. Those groups are still few and far between.
In 2020, it's estimated of roughly 8.5 million first-time gun buyers, 40% were women. And purchases made by African Americans increased 56% compared to 2019.
So, this tired ass bullshit argument, the first time I heard it was from the fat dude from The Wire. Nigga from New Orleans. Trash, right? He was out there saying it, or I don't even know if he said it. It was just a meme of him saying it. And then Travis Smiley said it, and a couple other people kept saying it. You know, you saw that in a debate with Travis Smiley and Killer Mike. Then other niggercrat men started saying and repeating the bullshit, right? The problem is, it ain't true and it ain't happened. Since the pandemic, gun ownership has gone up at least 300%, right? That's what they say, the numbers. You know? Ironically, there's a lot of black women who are getting armed. Not only getting armed, but they're getting training. They're learning how to use their guns. They're not shooting sideways. But gun ownership is going up from all Americans, period. But in particular, because we're late to the party, black people numbers are soaring and at probably a higher percentage rate because we're just now getting them, right? And guess what? It's not the red states that are making more restrictions and making it more difficult. In fact, all the motherfuckers in the media had a shit show because of what happened in Texas just recently, where they became the most gun-free country, gun-free state in the union. Next to Arizona. 26 other states already have those gun laws. Nonetheless, they all freaked out in the media. Oh my God, Joe Budden on his podcast saying a bunch of bullshit that wasn't even true. But think about that. This tired ass, lame ass argument or joke that they want to make it is kind of silly because it's not true at all. Like, you can't even make it make sense. All across the country, it's blue states that are making it more difficult, making it harder for black folks in particular to get guns. Case in point, right now, Joe Biden, the white guy that a lot of niggercrats voted for, he sent people to the Supreme Court. He sent some lawyers to the Supreme Court to argue on behalf of the White House to say, nah, for the people who want to get their guns and carry it outside their home in New York City, we don't want that to happen. So we're going to send some lawyers to try to argue against that right being offered to people. New York is a pretty diverse city, right? A lot of quote-unquote minorities, right? That will be disproportionately affected by that. No, it's not a blue state. It's not Texas. It's not Florida. Joe Biden sent them on behalf to argue against a New York case. Oh, what about? I got a better one for you. Chicago right now, Cook County. Your girl Toni Preckwinkle, aka Queen Sugar. She's trying to pass, or she just got some legislation passed where they're gonna tax every bullet and every gun you buy. Who do you think that's gonna hurt in Chicago? You guessed it, niggas. Some of the same niggercrats who voted for her and the Democrat as the governor and as the mayor, and Lloyd Lightfoot. But break that down a little bit more, right? Chicago just got the right to bear arms outside their home recently, in the last early 2000s, because who? The NRA, who only the niggercrats bring up when they want to say that they supported gun control back in 1970 something, and this is what Ronald Reagan did, and this and that. Granted, I don't like the ruling, but let's be honest, what it did and what it didn't do. It did not stop black people from getting guns. it did not take away black people's guns. It stopped them from opening carrying loaded weapons in Washington. No, in California, my bad. That's what it did. And it was trash, the Mulford Act. I don't support it. But nonetheless, that's what it did do. So when niggercrats want to bring up the NRA, they jump back to there. But they never jump up to the only reason why black folks in Chicago have the right to carry guns outside their home is because the NRA helped take their case to the Supreme Court. And because that happened, and the niggercrats and leadership in Chicago and the bitch ass white liberals can't stop them, right? They're gonna tax them for every gun they buy and every bullet they buy. It's not a Republican state doing that. It's not a bunch of Republicans who supported that bill. And it's the kicker, this is the crazy part of this bill. The way she got it passed was, well, since you niggas fought to the Congress and y'all can carry guns, even after y'all go out there and take the test, y'all take 16 hours of shooting in the course, y'all get your FID card, you do this, you do all these hoops and obstacles that make it difficult because they know people get discouraged by doing all this bullshit and don't want the gun anyways because it's just a lot of work and they got to take off work and yada yada yada. For the folks who do all that and then get their gun, you got one more penalty for them. I'm gonna tax you for every bullet you buy and every gun you buy. And that's not even the bad part. After you buy your gun and you pay your taxes, guess what the money's gonna be used for? Guess what loophole they found? Crime prevention, which is definitely a 100% scam in Chicago. That is a big ass scam. Hundreds of millions of dollars go to that shit, and obviously they ain't working. But now they're going to use law-abiding gun owners who jump through every hoop and every loop that they threw out there, not the Republicans, the Democrats, to stop black folks from being able to have access to guns. And then they're going to penalize you more to pay for the Pookies and Ravies terrorizing the city, which is why you got the gun in the first place. Twice, just in the news this week. And I'm going to address the birds on the view, whippy dumbass, her solution to gun problems with criminals having guns. We're going to do that in a different video though. But after she said what she said, which was some dumb shit, when they were talking about the New York case, a 77-year-old man was just in Chicago. He used his gun, which he only has the right to carry outside the home because of the NRA going to the Supreme Court, and he killed the intruder. Another off-duty or retired firefighter, they tried to rob him, use his weapon differently because he's not he's retired. And I don't know how it works in Chicago, but I know police officers and correctional officers, if they have a gun on their badge, they can keep it when they retire. No, off their badge. If it's on your badge, you got to go back and do it the legit way like a regular person. But you can have like rifles and other guns on your badge, but you have to get your legit license. I don't know how that works. That's how it is in New York. But I'm not saying he benefited from the outside carry law because I don't know how it works with firefighters. They're not law enforcement, but I don't know how Chicago works. But nonetheless, he was able to carry his gun outside the home. They tried to rob him too. He used his gun. He killed the intruder. But think about how many people, all these sisters, these single moms, these people who've seen rapists on trains in New York City and nobody did nothing about it and just watched, right? All these things are happening. People videotape it, but nobody doing nothing, right? These women are scared. These people feel like they don't want to be victims. They're getting the guns and they're getting the training, spending the little money they got. And it's not Republicans cock blocking that. It's not Republicans supporting that. It's Democrats. How come we won't address that elephant in the room? How come didn't Michael Bloomberg say niggas shouldn't have guns in New York? Like, didn't he do that? Sway, that was the white savior that y'all thought was gonna beat Trump. Didn't happen. That didn't last long. All across the country, blue states are making it more difficult. They're adding more restrictions, specifically that are going to target you, disproportionately are going to affect you. The laws are going to be enforced, and yes, they are screaming defund the police or reallocate. That's your new slogan. That didn't work for y'all in these elections that just came up the last few weeks. Black folks even voted against that bullshit. That talking point is just wild to me too. Like, we don't want to send cops to these situations. We want to send a social worker. You mean the social workers that are already overworked, underpaid, and already got to deal with some F shit? I've yet to hear one of them say, yeah, when there's a police call and there's a dude outside in a diaper with a knife, call me, not a cop. I've yet to hear one of them say that yet. But nonetheless, all these socialists and progressives want to do that. But y'all all losing your election, so I guess it's not going to happen. But I don't know. This shit just triggers me that this is a repetitive talking point, even a joke of, yeah, when niggas get guns, Republicans aren't going to vote against them. Well, it hasn't happened yet. But now address the fact that every time we do get guns, it's Democrats that try to cock block. They see what they do in Texas. They say, what can we do to restrict guns in New York and in California and in Chicago? They're relaxing their gun laws. They're making them stricter. So how can you keep saying that when there's no evidence of that at all? None. All we see is blue states, Democrats, pushing for gun control. You had a bunch of niggas in Atlanta with AR-15s supporting Stacey Abrams, who ain't did nothing legislatively. The only thing she did prior to running for governor and losing was support some gun control bill. That's it. Of course, she took your boy Bloomberg's money because he said everybody's taking my money, gotta push gun control. And all these niggercrats, even the chick in Detroit, who also a bunch of black people took their AR-15s, went to the Capitol to support her. And guess what she's only known for? A gun control bill. Wait a minute. Do that math. 2 black women, black folks felt comfortable to go out there with their guns to protect her for the very guns that those 2 women support banning and taking away. To me, it's not a Democrat or Republican issue, though. I don't trust any of them. But right now, the Republicans are on my side when it comes to that issue. Democrats are not. But don't get it twisted. It's politics. People change because they want power and control. So anybody can get it. I remember when the most brilliant person ever graced the White House, Condoleezza Rice, said some dumb shit on The View. Although she claims she's not running for any elections or anything, I could never vote for her because she wants to ban guns I own. Even though she gave a reason why she don't support no one who has guns in registries, because of she knows that her grandfather, her uncles, and them, when the racist ass governor of Alabama was doing what he was doing, he would have just took all the guns. Can't support her. Dr. Ben Carson, when he was running, I understand the context of what he was talking about. He was talking about niggas in Detroit. But yeah, when he was running for president, that gun rhetoric he was talking about, although in context I understand it, he had to change that because he knew he couldn't win with Republicans doing that bullshit. So this is bipartisan for me. I'm not beholden to any party or any side of the issue. If you support gun control, I will not support you, period, in any way, shape, or form. But let's address the elephant in the room. How come these niggercrats in the media will say this boogeyman is going to take away the guns because we got them, but you don't address the party that you vote for that is doing just that? They're doing it. They have the power right now. All 3 branches of government. Can't get none of that socialist bullshit that went past with all 3 branches. That's crazy. I'm out. I got some more gun control conversations coming up. I'm gonna address them birds on The View and their dumbass response to New York and how an individual is just trying to get his constitutional right to carry outside the home like every other state does. But yeah.
Retired firefighter, 77, kills man who tried to rob him at gunpoint, Chicago cops say. A 77-year-old ex-firefighter shot and killed a man accused of trying to rob him at gunpoint, Chicago police told news outlets. The shooting happened in broad daylight, investigators told WFLD, around 12:30 p.m. on November 6. The accused robber drove up to the man's Southside home while he was in the garage, got out of a car and demanded belongings at gunpoint, WGN reported. The 77-year-old, a retired firefighter, pulled out a gun and opened fire, hitting the gunman in the head and chest, MAC reported. He died at the scene, according to investigators. Police have not shared the identity of the man killed. The retired firefighter was not injured, outlets reported. He had a valid permit to carry a concealed firearm.